When I first started making glass beads, I avoided making longer beads because I could never get the two ends to match. I'd get one side just right, but then lose it when I focused my attention on the opposite side. But somewhere along the way I realized that it was possible to just finish one side, literally working cold on one half of the bead and then hot on the other, and then joining the two. Once I realized that, balanced and centered longer beads became easy as pie. And that's what we're looking at today. So here's kind of a cool way to mix colors while you're working. Just take some rods. 3 is easier because they'll sit like a triangle. Rubber band them together and boom, 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 go to work. And that way they kind of mix naturally, which is nice and interesting. Can be. This is a very thick rod of ivory, so it might get seriously poppy. So we're going to introduce that up high. Today we're going to make a longer bead. We want to make a long, balanced and centered bead using much of the information we already have at our disposal. We're just expanding outwards. Okay. I just want to get each of the ends of these colors acclimated to the heat. Get everybody waking up a little bit. It's a rainy Monday morning in Tuscany. So once they start melting together like that, I'll just come down and join them and then begin the process of building up my gather. And I'm going to want to work. It's a longer bead, so I'm going to be using a longer piece of property here in terms of the work area on my mandrel, the bead release, that I'm going to warm up. So I'm warming up more of it. Although when I lay the glass down, I'm going to lay the glass in a width that's a little bit less than the end width that I want, because I want to be able to use the marver and send glass left to right once it's in place, because that way I can end up with some cleaner ends. If I just go all the way out and stretch that glass beforehand in terms of the width, you can end up with less than wonderful ends. So build up that gather, warm up that work area. Idea is the same, rocking back and forth. It's just a little bit bigger is all. A little bit heavier. Okay, once I start seeing some of that bead release flash orange, I should be good to go. I'll leave the flame, touch, and come across. Ooh, it's gigantic. I always want to cover that start point. Okay, there you go. See how it just kind of naturally mixes, which is nice. Then I'm going to change position a little bit of how I'm holding the 3 rods, because I want to make another color a little more primary, so that that color is sent rather than just one all the time. Keeping everything warm. Pause, touch. Obviously it's still primarily ivory because ivory is the thickest rod. Send a lot of glass in a hurry this way, which is kind of nice when you're making big beads. Again, kind of always keeping that bead warm. And I want to shift it a little bit so that I get more of that dark amber as the primary. Yeah, kind of patches of amber, which are going to look good. Alright, one more, and that'll be gigantic enough. Oh, he likes his big beads. Pa! It's huge. Okay. I'll set that down. Switch to my strong hand. So far, it's all the same series of movements from, that we've looked at in previous videos. This is a wider bead, so I'm going left to right across the surface of the flame so as to try and get the surface an equal soft temperature. I'm not trying to do the whole, I'm not trying to get to the core. I just want to get that surface soft so then I can come down and just rotate, really just one time. I just want to start with a kind of a nice flat surface. If I need to, I could warm up the ends a little bit and tuck them in. I just want to have kind of an equal quantity of glass on both the left and right side of the bead, because we're going to be finishing each end separately. We'll work on the right hand side first, so I'm going to stay on the surface of the flame. This is just like if you're doing a donut or a bagel, whatever you're hungry for, and you're staying in the center of the flame, you're heating from the exterior in. It's exactly the same idea, but now you're doing it just on one half of a longer bead. Okay? So I want to get that glass to heat from the exterior in towards the core on that one side. It'll come to a point when it's rotating freely. I can feel that it's nice and soft and balanced. Then I'll come down to my mortar and I'm rotating and angling. You see how that cleans up, balances, smooths that one side, right? Now I just want to warm up the end just a little bit, tuck it in, give me a clean edge, right? Not too much heat though. And while that's settling down, cooling a bit, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to heat the exterior. And I want to heat it all the way to the core. I mean, I don't want things to get sloppy, but I do want it to, I want this, in the end of it, to be one solid mass. So I don't want there to be weaknesses at the core. I'll come down, rotate, and then angle. Okay, warm up that first bit again. Back and forth, back and forth. And now I want to begin the process of finishing. It's as easy as that. A gigantic, big, balanced and centered bead is so easy. I want to come across and smooth an angle, okay, and again the other side, smooth an angle, clean up the ends, get some heat just on the end, nice and malleable but not molten, not drippy, rotate and press but not very hard. Do the same thing one more time on that opposite end. Pull and rotate. And now, in the flame, I want to get some good heat on it. I want to get some heat all the way to the core. I'm not going to lose my shape. Working a little bit higher, but I do want the entirety of this bead to be balanced and centered. I want to feel it in my fingertips, that thing is molten almost to the core, right? And if I want to do bicones or whatever, I could do that. I'm just going today for a nice simple sort of longer bead with nice ends on it, something like that, right? Always that last bit is that flame annealing. You don't want to get that, put that thing into your kiln or into your insulating material when it's at an equal temperature throughout, whether it's a tiny bead or a gigantic bead. Okay, and that one feels like it's pretty good. I can feel it. I don't need to always be looking at the side. But you can do that if you like, if you're one of those types. But I do trust my fingertips to tell me whether or not these beads are balanced, and dang if it ain't. Pretty dang accurate. Alright, so that'll do it. Look at that. That's simple and easy, isn't it? But it's always nice because you always get these dimpled ends that he talks about all the time. You get nice balanced. Works pretty well. Alright, let's call it a day.